purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine, Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over. Your crypto empire starts now.
And we are live. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Ben. How are you today?
I am drinking the world's largest Red Bull because it's Monday.
I'll drink some water. I'm on a water fast today, every Monday. Once a week.
Your wife recently wrapped up a week-long one, didn't she?
Yep, she did a whole week's water fast.
Wow. That, just water.
Just water, nothing else.
Wow. Congratulations. Wow, that's amazing. Welcome to the show, guys and gals. All right, today's Monday. And I've probably had 7 calls this weekend, and every one of them was worrisome on their side.
Yes.
What's going on? Geez, we have this with AI. We have this. The labor market is really not doing well with AI and all this. And I went on probably a 45-minute rant of why people should look at this as an opportunity and not a problem. Because AI, everyone can use AI. Everyone watching this right now, you should go on X, use Grok, and just write a little explanation of your life. What you do for work, what is your house payment, what is your car payment, what you enjoyed doing. If you're on X, if you're on Facebook, and explain who you are. And then ask it, what can I do to improve the amount of money I make? And watch what it tells you. It's like having your grandfather, or at least in my case, your grandfather in your pocket. Saying, all right, boy, this is what you're good at. This is what you know how to do. This is what you like doing. This is how much you bring in. This is how much you owe. You should allocate $187 a month. You should put it here. You should put, and it will help you lay out what you should do in this new economy. You and I are already, this is our life. This show, social media, creating a new economy for the world.
Interesting that you actually, I had no idea what you were going to talk about today.
You never do.
By the way, guys, I was supposed to be on a plane right now going over to Eddie's shop in Boston, and John Deaton's, he's running against Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, so I was going to meet with him, but This morning, all the flights got canceled, so I've been at the airport since 6, but then I showed up at the office since the flights are canceled, so here we are. But, you know, Ben, the thing that you're talking about, I did exactly what you're suggesting. I went on AI and I asked AI, give me the macroeconomic fundamentals and you know, what should a portfolio allocation look like? All right. So, and specifically taking into account potential black swan events where you have catastrophic failures, systemic failures that Bernanke used to talk about.
Yeah.
Right. That clown. Oh, the Federal Reserve. But you know, you have a situation right now with this massive bubble of a debt. All right, you know, it's going to be $50 trillion soon at the rate that it's going. You have essentially a repricing of almost every commodity you can think of. That whether it's real estate, whether it's gold, everything's going to reprice itself out, and we are entering that situation where that instability is going to come from a source yet unknown, because you know it's the butterfly's wings in Malaysia causes a storm in Hawaii, right? So it's that kind of an effect. We're in such a strange economic situation that all we know is that change is inevitable. We have to move to a new system. So in this new system, who can you trust? It comes down to trust, and the only person or the only thing you can trust is your self-custodied cold wallet. I mean, that's what it comes down to, because this is no longer a conspiracy theory. We are living in a world where holding on to your assets and no one else being able to control it is primary. So my first thought was, okay, so the maximalist idea of 100% allocation to Bitcoin would be the right solution, because we know with certainty that a break is coming. And yet AI gave me a very interesting perspective. I was thinking I was being aggressive by being maximalist, and it said, no, here's what you want to do. You want to put 70% into Bitcoin. You want to keep 10% in cash. You want to put 10% in something like mining or energy that is producing cash flow. And you put another 10% so into some very liquid asset which you can get out of quickly, so that when the crash comes, you have now 30% or 25% in dry powder to aggressively go and buy up everything that you need to buy up, right? So I just thought that was really interesting. I was thinking that 100% would be the right allocation. The right is 70 with enough dry powder to go and pick up all the pieces of that broken economy.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize, and when I say this, this will make absolutely fucking sense, is you can own a share of the future Federal Reserve. And let me explain. When we create the actual Bitcoin, when we go out and we mine it, that is the future global reserve.
Yes.
So if you run, because we run a lot of miners, all right?
We do.
When you run a mining company, you are basically a branch of the future global reserve system. You are verifying the transactions in the network. Well, and that's why the Federal Reserve, it's going away. It should have went away a long time ago. But why it's actually going away now is because it is the most inefficient system out there now. It's no longer profitable to invest in that system. If you own, like Wells Fargo or something like that, your network is really just a bunch of people who are working in relationships and all this other stuff like that. Well, the blockchain, there's no people involved.
Correct. You don't have to trust people.
Exactly.
Math and physics controls how a transaction is going to be verified. It's not people. Humans have become the single point of failure for any system that now almost always requires an intermediary, right? So if you can have the trustless system, which is controlled by physics, you can actually start to build an economic model, a monetary system that is sound, and hence we call it sound money, right? Because here's what's going on. You know, the Federal Reserve has been almost always inefficient in pricing anything, because you got a bunch of 12 guys sitting around trying to make a decision instead of letting the market make that decision.
Yep.
When you have a situation where the market is pricing what the T-bill needs to be, or the market is pricing, you know, what the munis need to be, the market is pricing what the interest rate needs to be, it's far more effective because it is following the fundamental principles of capitalism. You're allowing that market to, the water level to come to its own level. You're not forcing, you're not pushing and pulling this thing, right? And the only role, frankly, of the government needs to be to create that level playing field that allows us to operate in a competitive environment.
Yep.
And anything beyond that is an overreach. Because at the end of the day, it was similar to, you know, what you and I were talking about, Grant Cardone, and, you know, that debate that we had, which people are calling the debate of the year, this, you know, in the Naples Wealth Conference, where I was on the panel with CJ and Grant and John Devine, who's a brilliant guy, by the way.
Yes, he's amazing. Him and I have actually
He mentioned that. That. But by the way, he'll be partners with us.
Good.
We are actually going to have a product, not to digress away from, but we're going to have a product which is going to be a downside risk protection, and it's going to be integrated into our banking structure, into our El Salvador credit union, where when you actually deposit Bitcoin, not only will you get a yield, but you will have the option of getting a put, which is a downside risk protection.
Yep.
So anybody who has 5, 10, 15, you know, more than 5 Bitcoin, I would say it would be mandatory that you take that downside risk protection. And this is a very, very powerful product. I went through a lot of details. I sat with John for a few hours after dinner that night. And so I'm going to meet with him. He's in Chicago, where the exchange trades happen. But he's going to build this product with us. Where he's got APIs. We're going to integrate into it. And this will be something that gives you complete downside risk protection. And interestingly, you don't have to pay more for it, because when you sell that put option, you get paid, right? You get a premium. That premium actually pays for the service. So you actually get a downside risk protection without actually having to pay for it.
Absolutely.
So this is something that you know, we're going to start to look at. We really have to structure this in a way that security is the number one paramount thing.
Yeah, it's and this is what I want people to realize is the old system, the reason it is, or the reason we're in the shape we're in, is because the old system, it lies. It has to lie. Because, I mean, if you look at the interest rates right now, they are absolutely ridiculously low for the amount of risk.
100%.
If you look at the early 80s, when they shot interest rates up like I think it was 18% or something like that.
During Jimmy Carter's time.
Right.
It was very high.
We had so much inflation, they had to rake in that So they had to offer a rate that you really couldn't refuse.
Correct.
If you had $100,000 and you bought a bond, you got $18,000
Right.
worth of interest. That's worth it.
Correct.
If you have $18,000 now, or if you have $100,000 now, and you let them hold it for, I don't know, say 1 year, you're getting about $4,000.
Correct.
But in 1 year, the U.S. dollar is approximately losing
7 to 8% in real terms.
percent a year.
Correct.
So as soon as you purchase it, you've lost at least 4%.
Yep.
That's why the Federal Reserve has to actually purchase the bond because no one else wants them. And that's why we have a 1 year, we have a 2 year, we have a 3 year, a 5 year, a 10 year, a 15 year, and a 20 year, and a 30 year. No one's going to buy a 30-year bond from America who isn't required to. It makes no sense. If we're losing 8% a year, how upside down are you going to be in 30 years?
You know, I bought a bottle of water this morning at the airport because I'm on a water fast. $7.65 for a bottle of water.
Yep.
$7.65. So when somebody tells you, oh, our CPI is blah de blah and our inflation is 2.7%, that is not what, look, the whole CPI index, the consumer price index, it doesn't even include healthcare. It doesn't even include education. I mean, I've got 2 kids going to private school. You don't think that's a big part of what, and by the way, both healthcare and education are outstripping the other areas in terms of
Yep.
the inflationary effect. So, you know, we're really in a situation, I think, you know, President Trump is talking about this 50-year mortgage right now.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, so all that'll do is potentially reduce the monthly cost, right? That's the whole idea.
Yes.
Is so that there's a little bit more affordability, you know, but you're locked in for 50 years into a lifelong debt. I mean,
Plus, it's on a $400,000 loan at 6.5%. The difference between a regular loan, which is only 30 years only, and a 50-year loan is $140 a month.
is that right?
That's it. It's one is $3,100, and the other is $3,300 and something dollars. So that now, mind you, if the interest rate is low, because what they're looking to do is they're in a frantic race for the velocity of money.
Yep.
It's slowing down.
That's right.
And think of that as your blood pressure. If your blood pressure inside of you drops where it isn't moving very much, you're going to die. You're on your way to dying. And that's what and we've reached a point in the system where they're just throwing in. Now, you know me, I love Trump, but he's in a place, and America is in a place where there is no good option.
Other than switching over to a new monetary system.
Bingo.
That's it.
That's it.
It's all roads are leading to that eventuality
Yep.
at this point. And so when, you know, as Bitcoin Band Club members, you know, we're right now, to me, the Bitcoin gains is less important than the security that it affords.
Yes.
That the safety net that it provides you, the sovereignty that it provides you. Because guys, if you believe for a moment that a Venezuela cannot happen here, you're mistaken.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is possible. Look at what that Ursula whatever Van, of the nondescript EU.
God.
Yeah, I mean, she's a tyrant. She's a tyrant, unelected tyrant, has now gone and stated that in Europe you can pay more than $10,000 in cash. They've just decided that the currency no longer is valid after 10,000, and that next year they want to impose IDs, not on elections, but on Bitcoin transfers.
Yep.
So to receive Bitcoin, you have to show your ID. So these are the kind of course, you can't do that because Ledger don't care.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but
Good luck enforcing that.
Good luck in enforcing that. So, that's just a dumb shit thing that they did exactly the same thing. All these talking heads in Congress and Senate. Oh, we're going to shut down the internet. We're going to do this and that. And, so the same thing is happening now. They don't understand the ledger. They don't understand Bitcoin. They don't understand peer-to-peer. They don't understand sovereignty. They don't understand that you can have a trustless system. So cross-border system, I don't need your SWIFT. In fact, we just did that transaction, from D.C. to El Salvador. There was no SWIFT rail. There was no, routing numbers and codes. We just transmitted a bunch of money across borders, on-chain, peer-to-peer, and no one can do a damn thing about it. And the best part was the deposit went into basically a regulated financial institution called a credit union. So it went into a distributed wallet. So these are things that are, I think I used the phrase, and some people liked it. It wasn't a demo, it was a demolition.
Yes.
It was a demolition of the current state because we just proved with a real transaction, not that we can use the blockchain, but because this is sovereign. The transaction is sovereign. It goes into your account, into a wallet that you hold the keys to. And no one can do a damn thing about it, right?
Yeah, it's weird. We have reached a point, and they're not going to announce it. You just have to realize we're there.
Yes.
That the game's over. Right? It's absolutely over. And and you know it's over whenever you hear the government. I don't care if you're on the right or the left. The right or left, they got the same situations. They're reaching for anything to keep this afloat. And unfortunately, the people on the left have been preparing for this moment for almost 100 years, well, over 100 years now. They've led us into this moment that they knew would come. And now we're reaching a point where the left, and I mean the progressives, not your regular Democrat, the progressives, they are going to try and blow up America. And I don't mean boom, boom, boom. I mean wreck the economy, shut down the airports, get it so uncomfortable. This is what every socialist, every communist revolution does. They actually make it so uncomfortable and so annoying to just exist that the average person yells out, "Someone do something." And they don't care what that something is, because they're just trying to live their life, which, don't worry, you and I are going to talk about Grant Cardone. I have nothing against him, but we have to address his mindset.
Yes.
We're reaching a point. 42 million Americans rely on food from the government. 42 million.
You realize you can't have a democracy if you actually have that kind of dependency.
Yeah, it's number one. If you don't think that was on purpose, you have absolutely lost your fucking mind. Because this is what socialists and communists do. They set up systems that create reliance, where they rely on that food, and you do it generationally. So if you grow up on welfare,
You know, no other.
that's
You don't know freedom. You don't
once a week or once a month, you get your card, you go out, you go shopping. And the reason we have inflation, folks, if you want to know the God's honest fucking truth, is that. That's what the food inflation is.
That's
Because
right.
I'll tell you right now, inflation is injecting more purchasing activity without creating an equal amount of production into the economy. If you just hand out a bunch of money, but you don't produce more goods, that's inflation. $42 million, or 42 million Americans were receiving money that was not linked to a production of a product. So we had a bunch of people receiving money that they did not work for. That is definitionally, that's inflation.
Right. Government, anytime the government is spending more than it's taking in, it's inflation. Right. It's as simple as that. And the more they create these programs, quote unquote, to buy the votes, and that's what it really comes down to. If you, these politicians, they don't really care for the people. That's a
No.
delusion.
Here's a great, and I will definitely want to hear your opinion on this. Look at what happened up in New York. What was his whole campaign?
Free food, free
I'm gonna-
buses,
I'm gonna
free
food.
stores.
Yeah, free, 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 free.
Get me the votes.
Not one single. We need to correct the problem. He thinks the problem is that the people are struggling because of the rich people. That's not the case. The problem is the money printer. That's at the root of all of this. If we lived in a country with responsible government and no Federal Reserve, the poor people would lift up. That system's exactly like Bitcoin. That's the old system we had during the 1800s. And everyone got wealthier. Everyone did.
But I'll tell you something. I have a slightly different read on this whole New York situation. I don't think he's just going after the ideological difference that rich people, bad, poor people need to be brought up through the socialistic view. I think the deeper roots here, and people fail to say that because they don't think it's politically expedient to do so. But this Islamification is a root cause here. He doesn't really care whether the stores are open or not. The London has a Muslim mayor, and you have this in New York, in the largest city in the world. You know, in these Arab, some of these fairly barbaric countries, people are celebrating because you got this guy now who's going to be running the biggest country in the world, and this is a huge, not just a political statement, but I think the fact is that in most of those countries you have an average 6 to 7 kids per household, and in the Western cultures is dropped down from Western societies has dropped from 2.2 to 1.6 child per household, right? So Japan has already faced this problem. There's a decreasing, and Elon Musk has tried to call attention to it, saying, hey guys, you're going to have a population bomb the other way. The population bomb is not that we have over-excess population, it's that we don't have enough kids. It's a dying, aging society, and that is ripe for takeover with barbarism, right? I mean, you can't win with bullets and guns, but you can just take over places. Now there are streets being taken over, churches being taken over, the very culture which built all of this. You know, there were no Muhammads in the damn founders list. The last I saw them, right? So it's, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you got to call it for what it is. I'm at a place now in my life where, thanks to Bitcoin and thanks to Bitcoin Ben, I can say exactly what I think is truthful.
Yep.
And not for any political gain or not for anything else, but just an observation of what is happening in our country, what is happening in our society. And I think it's a bloody damn shame what has happened in New York.
It was a
beautiful city. I grew up there. I went to school there. I did my PhD I worked with Ernst & Young as my first job out of college. I have a great deal of love and respect. At that time, Giuliani had cleaned up 42nd Street, all the hookers, and you know the people were gone off the streets. We were proud of New York. And when the towers came down, it was the saddest day in my life. You know, I literally had a dorm like right across the Hudson River, and I would, you know, these two towers were always there in my view out my window, right? And then suddenly you go and see it's not there. It's unreal. So I didn't go to New York for 10 years after that because some of my friends from Ernst & Young and other places who were in the tower, you know, didn't make it. And it was a terrible shock. And we said we would never forget. But heck, we did forget.
I was just about to say.
You know?
I actually wrote that on X. I wrote, I thought we would never forget 9/11. Because all right, if you've never read the Quran, you need to read it. Because it is not a religion of peace. I'm not going to say good or bad, but what I am going to say is someone wrote on X from New York, I'm not afraid of having a Muslim as a mayor. I've never had a Muslim knock on my door and try to convert me. And I wrote back, yeah, that's because they don't knock.
True. Well,
and what she doesn't wrap her head around is Islam, how they actually take over a country or they invade an area is initially, because I saw him. I saw, God, what's his name? Fucking Mandani.
Mandami or something, yeah.
Yeah. I saw him at a gay rights parade. And I thought to myself, there's no way that these people can be that fucking stupid.
And yet here we are.
But yet here we are. I think that our youth has, and a lot of older white liberal women who are just angry because they're angry.
Yes.
I think that the amount of lies they have to tell themselves to not recognize a threat is absolutely fucking crazy.
You know, look, even at a very basic level, even if I was to leave all of that behind, it just smells like a like a plant. Why does it smell like a plant? You got the biggest city in the world, a financial center of the world, and you've got a guy who just became a citizen 5 years ago. We don't know how exactly he did that, but and then he's never written a policy. He's never run as a senator. He's never run as a congressman. He's got no
never had a
history.
real job.
He's never had a real job. He's never been a CEO. He probably doesn't know the difference between a balance sheet and an income statement. But here he is running the largest financial capital city with hundreds of billions of dollars of budgets and infrastructure. And, I'm the CEO of Bitcoin Ben Club. Ben would, if I hired somebody who's never done that job, Ben would come to me and say, Jay, what are you doing? Why are you hiring a guy, who's never done that job, right? Or done anything similar to it, has no qualifications for it. So anytime I see something like this where a person just comes out of nowhere, Obama was the other one, by the way, who spoke well, complete CIA creation.
Absolutely.
Right? Because this is the hidden hand. These are the forces that are acting against the will of the people.
Yes, it's actually, my grandfather used to say, never blame the bullet. And what he meant is, when you get shot, it wasn't the bullet, it was who's holding the gun. And that's exactly who he is. He's the bullet.
Yep.
He isn't the person holding the gun.
No, he's not.
It'll
all become very apparent very quickly.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. And I want people to realize who really brought this guy in. George Soros' son.
Yep.
And an organization called CARE. CARE is the Muslim Brotherhood. That's their branch here in America. They play off like they're just a nonprofit who supports all of the Muslims in America and the mosques and all that. Absolute bullshit. That is the Muslim Brotherhood. And for those of you who don't know who the Muslim Brotherhood is, Google that shit. Because I'm telling you right now, this guy who they just elected in New York, don't worry about him. Worry about who's behind him. And look at who he just put in as his cabinet. Look at all the women that he just put in.
They're all 7 of them. I saw that picture. Yeah, all of them.
And one of them is one of the leaders of CARE. And I'm telling you right now, guys, New York is going to be transitioned, because you have to understand how these people think. They have a China type of view.
The Sharia law, all the women who have been voting for that are going to be wrapping their heads in black cloth pretty soon.
Yeah.
And
a great example is Iran. Look at pictures prior to 1974 in Iran.
Yep.
And then look at it now. It ain't the same, folks. It's Iran used to actually be, well, relatively lenient.
It was. Actually, there was education. Women were, not putting all this headgear on. They were part of society. So from what I've at least read, that it was fairly westernized.
Yes, it was.
Free, sovereign, and those things were taken away.
Yes, they were.
Because that's what Sharia law does to you.
Yes. Read up on Sharia law. Realize that Sharia law is not compatible with the American Constitution. You cannot have Sharia law and American constitutional law exist in the same place. Because Sharia law is not freedom. It is not liberty. It is government structured law that is based on a religion that does not value the infidels.
Right.
And if you're not Muslim, you're an infidel.
Infidel. That's right, and they can lie to you and so.
Yeah.
It's at the end, Ben. It just comes out to it's about power, it's about control, it's about controlling people, controlling society, controlling resources, controlling the money.
Yep.
Which is why I think that this is where the breakthrough is going to be. God can make things turn around in ways that we never anticipated, but if there is a monetary transition, which I believe there is going to be, all of us who are holding Bitcoin, who have sovereign money, who believe in sovereignty, are actually going to be the only ones on the ark.
Yes, and all right, let's get off New York because
Yep.
I'll rant on that forever.
Yep.
The event you were at the other day, when I listened to Michael Saylor, he basically said exactly what we have been saying
100%.
for months now. Is you get a loan against your house and you buy Bitcoin.
Right.
We've offered that for I think almost 6 months now.
Yeah. More. Yeah.
Right. And guys and gals, it's go time, because while everyone's looking at the price, which we're up now, but you have to realize that there's an agenda that is trying to suppress the price of the Bitcoin. But they're having trouble because of the structure of the Bitcoin. And a lot of people don't realize this. Trump appointed a new head of this CBO or Chicago Board of Securities Exchange or
Okay.
something like that.
CBOE. Yeah.
Yes. He announced yesterday that he's going to implement spot Bitcoin on their exchange. There's a reason he's doing that, because the futures on the CBOE is what is driving the price down. That's how they're using that to manipulate the price. Well, they're implementing spot on that exchange to wipe out the futures or give them less influence.
Okay.
And that's a huge deal. If you don't see how Trump and the government and other individuals are setting up to shoot the price up, you're not really paying attention, because the rocket is on the pad. They're fueling it up. And when it goes off, because remember, this is limited supply. If more and more people want to buy it, unlike gold, they don't grab shovels and go out and dig up more.
Yep.
This is a limited supply. And when it goes violently. And the liquidity is going to dry up quick.
Yeah, I think the next 2 years is really critical. I think the next 2 years is really critical. And my thesis has always been, yes, there's a tremendous appreciation in value that we anticipate, and the rocket ship will leave and so on and so forth. But guys, please understand one thing. As the monetary system collapse occurs, this is the safety net. This is the asset this is the money that is yours, and no one can take it from you. Just that fact alone. So I've personally I've come to the conclusion that a monetary reset is inevitable. I know that as a fact. And therefore, you pose the question, if that is a fact, then what should your position be to safeguard your future's children's future, and their grandchildren's future? And there is no doubt certainly in my mind, that having an asset, even if it fluctuates up and down, but it's an asset that you have, that is your own, and you can hold it. And the other thing is that I think mining is really important, and keeping a part of your portfolio in mining. We just started a new program in mining, Ben. This is more of the retail mining that we're doing with Go Mining. I think it's a fantastic program that lets every single person get some exposure without having to go into the brain detail, where you are investing into mining. But here's the beauty of it. You're not buying a spot Bitcoin. You're not buying a futures or an ETF. You directly mined Bitcoin is coming into your wallet. It never even touches the fiat rails. And you're not paying full price for it, right?
Yep.
You're essentially mining, because even if it costs $50,000, I was doing some of the math, and I think all the way up to about $65,000 per coin, we're still going to be profitable in terms of mining. Beyond that, it's kind of like the oil. To pull it out, it costs you more than the market will gain. But right now, we have a pretty decent margin over there as well. So yes, while we look for appreciation, get into mining, because you're buying the coin at a 50% discount. If a coin's at 100,000 and you're building that coin and mining it at 50,000, you just bought yourself a 50% discount, right? Mm-hmm. And you got it directly, never a fiat rail. You got it directly into your wallet. So I think our retail mining program is going to be very successful.
Absolutely.
I think our wholesale mining program, where you get the depreciation and you get it's for bigger investors, 100,000, 150,000 plus investors, where depreciation, taxes, earnings, those things start to, have a pretty big impact on the overall cash flow.
Yep.
And the profitability and the EBITDA. And so I certainly recommend that. And we have, as you said, thousands of miners running around the world right now. There's lots of geopolitical stuff going on. So I think, we just need to be in a place where right now securing and taking more of a secure position with a dry powder left on the side to get really aggressive when things start to falter. Right? So that's, I think, my thesis right now and how we should be looking at our capital.
Yeah, I highly recommend everyone actually give us a call or send us a text, because we have so many ways of accumulating the Bitcoin. We can mine it, we can sell it. Remember, no KYC, because we're a private membership club. It's 941-413-8080. Give us a call, or you can send us a text and just say, hey, how can I get more friggin' Bitcoin? And because, guys, realize that, like you said, the next 2 years, you can actually build a reserve of an appreciating asset that is at the core of the future monetary system. It's the equivalent, like I've said in the past, it's the equivalent of actually buying land in America and accumulating land over a few years when we initially landed in America, because this is limited land. This is limited digital property. So the rest of the world is going to move to the digital America,
Yep.
which is Bitcoin.
Yep.
And when they move there, if you live there already, guess what? They're going to have to offer you a lot of money
To move out of there.
to move out of there. And for the next few years, I think a lot of people are going to realize, shit, I don't want any dollars. Those things are, I mean, listen when I say this, folks. We've reached a point where every 63 days, U.S. is in $1 trillion more of debt. As of January of this year, it was every 100 days. Now we've reached a point where it's every 63 days. Do you know what that leads to? Hyperinflation. Look up Weimar Republic. Look up Trump announces launching a $500 bill. The reason that you generate a larger denominational bill is because the smaller ones don't represent the needs of the purchasing.
That's right.
And folks, please, please, please listen to us. The next 2 years are going to be crazy. But you, if you play your cards right, I can't guarantee you can sit on the sidelines, but you definitely won't be on the battlefield because this is a monetary war.
Absolutely. It is.
If
It
you're
is.
holding your Bitcoin, that is your weapon. That is your fuck you money. In fact, I'll say this is your fuck the war money. Because you guys sit and argue over dollars. I got my Bitcoin.
Yep.
And all you have to do is work, generate income, roll a portion of that into Bitcoin, or as we've actually talked about, and Michael Saylor, your home equity is a liability right now.
Correct.
Because your home equity is sitting out there in the ether, losing value. If you roll that equity into the Bitcoin, your appreciation over the next years is going to totally wipe out that loan so incredibly fast because people are realizing that global fiat money is broken. And everyone is going to run to the one thing that you can buy now and hold now. That's the Bitcoin. Because you can head out and actually buy gold. Watch out for this. I'm just saying, at the end of the Weimar Republic, people were being shot and killed and robbed of their gold as they left actually purchasing the gold. Watch for this. If you go down and you're like, hey, I want to buy some silver, I want to buy some gold, as things get worse, watch. You'll see people leaving their local coin places getting assaulted. I'm just telling you what happens at this phase of the collapse. With your Bitcoin, you get on the phone, you call us. However, we can go out and buy it, or we can get you a loan. We can actually get you an unsecured loan to buy Bitcoin. I guarantee if you give us a call and say, what are my options for getting more fucking Bitcoin? We have a grocery list of
Absolutely. We have a lot of programs for our members, and you should avail of them because the time is coming.
Yes.
The time is coming when sitting on the fence will no longer be an option.
Your private wallet is your private armory. You can call us and we can load up your digital gun safe.
That's right. We'll help you create the right safe. And now we are also going into more of a structured programs that'll help you to actually manage your money the way hedge funds used to manage it, right? I mean, you are the bank now. When you have your Bitcoin, you are the bank, and you have to educate yourself and you have to be knowledgeable about what you're doing so that you can actually safeguard not only for yourself, but for your generations. And we're also creating structures within our credit union that'll allow you to not only take loans. Starting next year, we'll be giving out loans in the U.S., not only take loans against your Bitcoin, but we will have mining programs where you can reinvest into. We'll have insurance programs that actually cover that, and structures that will allow you to transfer that wealth to your next generation without incurring the very high taxes and generational taxes that one has to pay. So there are ways to do that. And there will be private key capital credit union offices right in the Bitcoin Bend clubs. We are already starting to build that
right out there.
right here in Sarasota. We're starting to build that. It will build that in Massachusetts, in Nashville, and other places as well. But these will be physical locations where you can come in, you can buy the Bitcoin, you can take a portion of your current 401 or your asset base and say, listen, here's what I got. I'd like to convert X% into Bitcoin and store it securely, safely in the credit union, get the yield. Yeah.
I really got to pee.
Oh, okay. All right. Get the yield, which is, so your Bitcoin is generating money for you, but at the same time, there are very many specific ways and structures and products that will be coming to market with, right? So, for example, I'll give you a little bit of a early heads up on one of the products that we are working on, our team is working on right now, and that is, let's say you put 10 Bitcoin into the credit union, which is your wallet, distributed treasury, it's secured, it's separated, it's yours. And let's say we lend out 70 cents to the dollar, 70% LTV, and you get now $700,000, right? So what we're going to be doing is something very innovative, is we'll be able to actually take an insurance, a life insurance for you, could say perhaps for $1 million or $2 million, right? The insurance would be paid out of that $700,000 that we gave you as a loan, right? The loan was tax-free because it's a loan. You're taking a loan against your own capital. So now you pay the insurance, but the insurance also covers the loan payment, right, in case something happens. So let's say that the $700,000 loan, let's say you died, that's first $700,000 would go towards paying off the loan, and the rest of the money, the 1.3, would go to your beneficiaries. But look at this situation. Now you take that loan, but because you have a wrapper of that loan being covered with insurance, your risk of the underlying asset has gone down significantly. So you're no longer paying 14, 13, 14, 15%, which is what typical crypto lenders charge you for crypto. We'll be able to do the same loan at 6, 7, 8% because we have reshaped the underlying asset by giving it an insurance wrapper and making it less risky. Less risk, less percentage interest, right? So now that happens, and then you take the rest of the capital, the 650,000, and you invest it into mining. So mining starts to generate, at the 2-3% per month, 4% per month in a fairly consistent manner. And what that means is that you're getting $20,000 in free cash flow in Bitcoin coming to you, and a portion of it's going to extinguish the insurance, a portion of it's going to extinguish your interest payment, but you still have $10,000, $12,000 in free cash flow while you're alive. So you're getting that free cash flow while you're alive, but when you pass away, the Bitcoin insurance covers the loan, pays the difference to your beneficiaries with no tax implications because it's a death benefit. And oh, by the way, the 10 Bitcoin that you just had, which appreciated from 100,000 to 400,000, their basis becomes 400,000. So you're not paying the capital gains on the 100 to 400,000. So your beneficiaries are actually getting it at the higher cost basis. So you basically just transferred your 10 Bitcoin, your life insurance, all of it tax-free to your beneficiary. And oh, by the way, while you're alive, you got free cash flow coming into you every single month.
Yep.
Who doesn't want such a program? And we're the first ones who are innovating. We are creating these structures. We're creating these products, which will be available to you in the new year. And it's kind of important to know, look, I don't expect innovation to come from the traditional banks. They're not incentivized to do that. They don't want to do that. And frankly, they can't move quickly enough. So innovation is going to come from nimble and fast and guys like us, entrepreneurs like us, who are building this for the people, because the people are the bank now. The people are the Federal Reserve now. It's no longer someone else. Oh, gee, we've given you some money, but trust it with us. We'll keep it safe for you. And by the way, when we don't like you, we'll just shut it down.
Yeah.
See, that game is over. We've all seen through that mirage, right? That delusion that has been created and been stamped into people's brains that that's how you work.
Yeah,
that's not true. There's a better way, and we're going to prove that there's a better way to do it.
Yeah, and I want you guys to realize the reason we are launching Private Key Capital is because no one cares about you at your bank. No one gives a fly. I promise you, J.P. Morgan doesn't know your name. They don't give a shit about you. They're looking at their income and what product can they put you in that benefits them most. Private Key Capital is ran differently. We are the change we have been begging for.
Yep.
Because we are actually people who are in it for the mission more than the money. Now, mind you, this is what created America. The founding fathers of America, half of them died, and I'll just tell you right now, half of them died broke. And
most of them lost everything they had.
Absolutely.
They lost their homes, they lost their families,
Yep.
they're killed. I mean, it wasn't easy.
Nope. But what I'm willing to do, and so is Jay, that's why he's our CEO, is we're either going to completely remake America how it should be, or we're going to die fucking trying.
100%. I'm with you.
Because the system we have now, like you said earlier, it's just slavery in a different package. We're all slaves now, and there are some of us who are actually trying to rally the slaves and are saying, guys, we're slaves. We need to get out of this slavery system. Well, we've got the lifeboat. The lifeboat is the Bitcoin because you're a slave to the monetary system. Well, join the new system, the new rich revolution, as I've always called it, and get the hell out of being a slave. Because the slavery days are over. We're all fucking Kunta Kinte. You know, I don't care if they chop off my foot.
Yeah.
I'm running for the lifeboat. And that's why we're here, guys. We're on a mission. And we either save everybody who wants to be saved, or the U.S. will never exist as it was. I mean, look, just using examples of New York and California and Illinois and all of the lawlessness that they actually put towards Trump. Guys, we are a banana republic. We're already there. I've heard people like, "Oh, this is how a banana republic." Yeah, because we are. We are printing up a bunch of money that's going to be worthless, and we are allowing the government, certain areas of the government, certain parties, to try and transform us into a socialist system. Every honest Democrat should have, that guy up in New York should have never been able to run as a Democrat. The Democrat Party should have said, no, we ain't hip on socialism. But why didn't they? Because they are.
Because they are.
They're
Look at every policy and every group of people that they support. They all support the wrong people. They support the terrorists. They support the illegals coming across the border. They support, it's just right across the border, right across the line. I mean, every single person that you think is not the right person to be here is the ones that Democrats are supporting. Right now, look at this shutdown. What are they fighting for? Food stamps for the illegals. But our own Army, Navy, and Air Force folks who are giving their lives and working on the front lines aren't getting paid, right? I mean, this contrast couldn't be any more stark. And anyone who doesn't see that, our veterans are on the street. Our veterans don't have homes. And we're giving, what, $4,000, $3,000, $4,000 away? And our Social Security gives $1,200?
Yep.
I mean, just look at it. Just open your eyes and look at the facts.
Yep.
Verify the facts yourself.
Yep.
Prove it to yourself what's actually happening. And then you see this delusion's going to fade very fast, and this monetary system will collapse.
Yep. And we'll be here to help you manage a collapse.
Absolutely. Manage to that collapse.
Yep. All right,
That's
guys.
your goal.
941-413-8080. Give us a call or send us a text. And just ask, how can you get me some more Bitcoin? We have lots of ways. Everyone, Jay, thank you for sitting in.
Thank you, Ben, for having me on your show.
On short notice, as always.
It's always fun. It's always fun to be here.
Everyone have a great day. I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
What if I told you a truck driver cracked the code to building a crypto empire? Meet Bitcoin Ben. He went from driving 18-wheelers to creating 6 different ways for regular people to stack Bitcoin and build wealth. This isn't just another crypto course. This is a complete ecosystem where you earn while you learn. First up, the confidential bulk purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine? Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over.